You're listening to The Last Straw, the show about reclamation, reinvention, and momentum, hosted by executive leadership and reinvention strategist, Christy Straw.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back in. We are going to talk about something today that is near and dear to my heart personally, also near and dear to my heart in sort of a traumatic way. Because completely honest and candidly with you, I've benefited from this recently, and prior in my life, I definitely feel that there was a cost associated with me not understanding certain things. And what are those certain things? Today, we are going to talk about the hidden rules of powerful rooms. Okay? I'm going to go there because if you know me or follow me at all, or you're just kind of joining the journey, hello, I'm Christy Straw. I'm the owner of a boutique leadership and strategy firm called Lighthouse Leadership Consultants in Charlotte, North Carolina. And one of the things that I do on a regular basis is host a salon-style dinner. All right? This idea of hosting this salon dinner called the Pinnacle Dinner was simply born from the idea that I absolutely hated the lack of emotional intelligence in executive spaces. All right? Completely bluntly, there's not a lot of it. There's a hell of a lot of high heels and a hell of a lot of soft egos. Not a lot of emotional intelligence in corporate leadership spaces, as I have found. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to be the answer to this problem. I'm going to build what no one else is building, and I'm going to be really blunt about it. All right? Shout out to Priya Parker and her amazing book, The Art of Gathering, because I was talking to my girl, Marie. Y'all know Marie Kelly. She is my friend. She's here in Charlotte. She is our 2025 Queen of Connection for the Pinnacle Dinner coming up on November 13th. And she gave me this book, The Art of Gathering, after I told her, Marie, I want to create a dinner every month. And she said, oh yeah, like a salon dinner, like an executive dinner. And I was like, no, everybody does that. That's so boring. I don't want it to be like that. Y'all, I got hearts on my jacket, okay? You know, my dinner was going to be different. I am the executive who wears hearts on purpose, okay? I said, Marie, this needs to be high EQ, big hearts, big ideas, and then some big ass follow through. Like one thing I hated in my time in corporate America was when people would say, oh yeah, I can help you with that. Or, oh, I have that introduction for you. And you either had to hound them to get it, or you did hound them and you still never got it, which made you feel like extra douchey. Okay. Or, you know, they just don't ever follow through at all with what they said they were going to do. And so it was really important to me when I was building this dinner and this concept that people had emotional intelligence, that they had situational awareness, that they were generously hearted and minded. They give more than they take. And what I've since learned, if you know anything about the book, Who Not What, you know, I'm a huge fan of the book, Who Not What. They talk about getting to your transformational leadership state and that only 10% of us really ever get there. And first of all, it's totally true. I've lived it. But I'm now starting to recognize that those are the people, I just didn't have the words for it. Those were the only people that I was really interested in having at my table. And so as we talked and she recommended this book, The Art of Gathering, and I read it, Priya did such a great job in her book of breaking down all the different ways you can have a gathering, be super special and specific, and that people just need to know the rules of the game. And so what are the rules of the game at the Pinnacle Dinner? Well, if you've been to one, you know that we first of all have no electronics at our table. All right? It is a phone-free, electronic-free dinner for 2.5 to 3 hours. I want you to really think about that. When's the last time you sat at a dinner for 2.5 hours and did not even look at your phone? If you're like most of us, probably not super frequently. I mean, hell, you need your phone to order half the time, right? To order off the menu at most places these days. But then in addition to that, it's one singular table conversation the entire time. You don't have to worry if Susie is talking to Kelly and that's a bummer because you really wanted to make sure you got to talk to Kelly. Because it's not happening. We're intentionally grounded in the experience of 10 or 12 of us chilling out at this table and talking about how to make each other's lives better. All right. So what does it look like when we get in these rooms? What does it take to get in these rooms? Who's going to have the conversation of what power moves look like in these rooms? Me, your girl, the reinvention strategist. I'm about ready to drop some massive truth nuggets about how you can reinvent yourself and show up in rooms like these. Because if you are invited to my dinner, I want to be extremely crystal clear. It does not mean you're coming back. Sorry. Absolutely not sorry at all. If you are invited to my dinner and you suck, or you have no emotional intelligence, or you use the time to pitch your product or your company or your podcast or whatever the hell else you're doing, you're not coming back. Because that's not the idea. All right. So how do you gain access to the power room? And I am a power player. All right. One of the 50 most influential women in Charlotte. I will hang that crown and hold on to it. Very proud of that. How do you work your way into these rooms? All right. Firstly, you got to echo their status. You cannot change it. All right. You're not going to change their status and you're not going to chase their status. You're simply going to echo it back to them. What's that mean? It means you're going to mirror their body language. You're going to recognize the energy of the table, of the room, and you're going to mirror that. And you are not going to chase their attention. I know that's very difficult for a lot of people when they show up in a room and they're like, oh my gosh, these people are very influential. I've been there. I recently joined a 7, 8, and 9-figure founder community called Baby Bathwater. After the phrase, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? I was scared shitless to join this community. First of all, to be clear, I am not a 7, 8, or 9-figure founder yet, okay? But I do have all the chops and the makings and the relationships of getting there. And that is absolutely what was seen and what was celebrated and why I was invited to join. It's this generous spirit, right? It's this art of reciprocity. It's giving value before expecting anything in return. And so I'm naturally wired that way. And I also force myself to be that way, even when I'm having my own little moment. And I really had to get this right before I showed up at our first event. Okay? I had to get it right that I was going to echo the status, echo the behavior, instead of try to chase that same energy or to chase that spotlight. I certainly wasn't going to go following people around. Okay? So rule number 2, when you make it into these rooms, ask trust-building questions. I didn't say ask good questions. I didn't say ask curious questions. I said ask trust-building questions because curiosity disarms defensiveness. I sat down across from a publisher. I had never met this person in my life. And I simply mentioned that, oh, you're a publisher. That's so fun. Like, I have a book. And this person was like, why would you say that to me? It wasn't at that event that I just referenced, but it was prior to. Why would you say that to me? And I was like, because we're at a leadership conference. And she was so disarmed by my honest answer that it really opened a little bit of an awkward moment and a laugh, right? But she also understood I wasn't trying to get anything out of her. Lady, we're at a leadership conference. I feel like it makes a lot of sense that I would tell you that I'm an author of a book. And would you like one? Because I'd be happy to sign it. That's really all I was trying to do. All right. I was absolutely bypassing her resume. I don't care. I was honestly intentionally trying to connect. Okay. And so much of us connecting is about being curious and asking trust-building questions, which, by the way, are not questions that lead to you wanting to gain something from somebody. All right. What's another tip? Well, it helps for you to be known before you walk in. If you have somewhat of a founder brand, an executive brand, a presence, right? That is prime signaling. People know when I show up in an event, sort of like a heart jacket or my strawberry jacket last week or my other crazy graffiti jacket the week before, or my white jacket that I used to keynote that literally has glittery unicorn on the back and says CEO. Shout out to my sister Julie who made me that. Thank you. Seriously, everybody knows that when I'm in the house, they're going to see something. It could be glittery shoes. It could be a ridiculous jacket. It's going to be something, right? It's part of who I am. It's part of being known before I walk in. All right. Visibility is not vanity, people. I have built an entire business around this. Visibility is capital. Let's make sure it counts. All right. Stay detached, never needy. Is there anything worse than a needy friend? Just makes my head hurt thinking about it. Is there anything worse? Yes. Yes, in fact, there is something worse than a needy friend. It's a needy acquaintance who recognizes they're in a powerful room and has decided to be needy and want something from someone without putting any effort into building a relationship. That is worse than having a needy friend. All right. Confidence stays detached from an outcome or an expectation. All right. Do not be the needy friend. And definitely don't be the needy person in one of my rooms. All right. Add value without asking permission. This was really hard for me, especially because I'm writing a book called Good Girl Corporate Conditioning. It's going to come out next year in 2026. And it's all about the corporate conditioning ever since really honestly being a little girl in my household up through corporate America, right? And so asking for permission is often my default. Not anymore. Not a whole lot I'm asking permission for anymore. The people who make the biggest impact always have the biggest ask. All right? I am telling you now, it never gets less scary. It never actually gets less scary to make a big ask or to offer your insight or value to somebody without them asking for it. But honestly, courage is what breeds confidence. Having the courage, being scared and do it anyway is what makes you more confident. I wouldn't be sitting where I am with some of the partnerships in the hopper that I'm so excited to tell you all about if it weren't for the fact that I had the courage to say, hey, I could offer value to your book club. And here's how. I would love to have a dinner with you in honor of your best-selling USA Today book. She knows who she is. I'm working on that, y'all. All right. Adding value without asking permission. Be ready, be prepared. All right. Rule number 6, talk less. Oh my gosh. Just shut up and be curious. It's better to be interested in a room of new people than to be the one who's interesting. People want to know you care about what they're doing. So take the time to care about what they're doing. And if that's not how you're wired, cool, but don't come. Okay. And then number 7, this is one I'm particularly amazing at. And anybody who's been friends with me since my college days will laugh. Exit before the energy changes. All right. I am extremely particular when I insert my energy into a space. I know I'm a lot and I'm not hiding it, but I am going to manage it and whittle it down for people to have to stomach for only so long. I know that enough about myself, right? I arrive when I arrive. I recognize I'm walking into a different energy. I recognize it will change when I arrive. And I recognize that I will leave before the energy starts to dip. Because 1, I don't really think anything good happens after midnight. I tell my kids that all the time. But 2, I recognize that I'm a lot and my energy is a lot. And people, whether they want to compare themselves or not, they do. And so I need to be self-aware enough to know, leave, let people have their spotlight back, right? Like go let people do their thing. You don't need to be the one calling it at the end of the night. All right. Knowing when to leave and to stay long enough to be remembered versus diluted is one of the key ingredients of powerful moves in power rooms. All right. So for the ribbon of reckoning in this segment, we do it every single segment. You guys should be used to this by now. We have a ribbon of reckoning. It's so cute. The Last Straw podcast, right? Bet on yourself always. What is my ribbon of reckoning for everyone today? Well, belonging isn't earned. It's chosen. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait to be invited. Go ask for a seat. And if the answer is not sufficient for you, build your own table. No one's stopping you. Everybody needs another great dinner to attend or whatever your table looks like. All right. The moment you stop trying to impress people in rooms and you start trying to connect, everything in your life will change. There's just a lot of biopsychology of belonging wrapped up in that. Safety, intuition, alignment. And your brand and the energy you bring to any space, mine included, is the bridge between what's happening now and where you want to go. All right. That bridge is called trust. So take a look at my website, find us, lighthouseleadershipconsultants.com. We will talk all about brand-led business development, how to be that person who walks in confidently, know your authentic authority archetype and how you're naturally wired to land in those spaces anyways. How do people already receive you? How are you already influencing? All right. And then take those insights that you've learned about yourself and consider the next time you show up in a powerful space, how you want to move through the room. Thanks, everybody. This has been another episode of the Last Straw podcast. Let's tell the truth and build something better from it.